Hey everyone, Steve here, and in this video I'll be talking about my experience playing Star Wars Squadrons on the PS4 using a Thrustmaster Hotas 4 controller, and then what it was like when I added in PSVR mode and how that whole combo felt. So if you've seen most of the videos on my channel, it's probably pretty clear that I'm into alternative control schemes for games. So when I heard that Star Wars Squadrons was coming out, I knew it would be a pretty good reason to grab a hands-on throttle and stick or Hotas controller and see what they're all about. You can see that my particular stick is the Hotas 4 made by Thrustmaster, and specifically it is the Ace Combat 7 edition. I don't know if there's anything special about it other than the decoration, but there you are. Now I thought that before I just straight up confuse myself in VR, it would probably help if I played Squadrons normally first. And you can see me going through the first steps of that here. The game itself presented nicely, and there's a lot of attention to detail everywhere, but I just don't think it got the biggest budget in the world, and the impact it had on the gaming scene was probably minimal, which is unfortunate because I think the arcade combat flight sim is a genre that could use a lot more love in general. My initial thoughts of playing with the Hotas 4 are that it does add a new dimension of control and immersion to the experience. I think Squadrons has a particular issue where the actual cockpit of your ship takes up so much screen real estate that if you were to just use a normal PS4 controller, you'd kind of feel like there wasn't much to the game other than flying and shooting, which is kind of the case, but at least with a Hotas controller, you get a little more immersion. In saying that, overall I feel that if you have no intention of playing Squadrons in VR, then adding even just a Hotas is going to do a lot for your experience. There are a few other flight sim games for the PS4, including obviously Ace Combat 7, so you can definitely get a bit of mileage out of this controller. So coming back another day after completing the 2 intro missions, I decided to hook up the PSVR, which if you're familiar with, is no small feat, and then it was time to jump into Squadrons VR mode. And my initial thoughts are that it's pretty awesome. While there are the occasional jumps to the theater style VR viewing in some menus and cutscenes, for the most part you can clearly see that this game had a VR mode in mind from the very beginning. And for it to be a Star Wars flying game in VR, that's just amazing. There's just so much to look at even when you're not flying that I honestly feel you're only getting half the experience when you don't play in VR, and that does sound kind of unfortunate, but I think most people would agree that it's better than the alternative of a tacked on half-baked VR experience. Flying in the ships is as awesome as you might imagine, but one of my favorite parts of this whole thing is that if you're using a Hotas controller with a stick on the right and throttle on the left, then your physical positioning is basically the same as that of a pilot in an X-Wing, which only further increases the immersion. This doesn't happen in all games with cockpits, so it's just super awesome when it does. The fact that this whole game is playable in VR is what to me makes it worth whatever price tag it commands where you are right now. Especially if you love Star Wars. Having said all this game just won't be for everyone, and the cost of the controller and VR setup means that the quote-unquote full experience isn't going to be super accessible. If you're a Star Wars fan, arcade flying game fan, or a general VR enthusiast however, I think this is probably an essential experience for your gaming journey. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you have any thoughts or comments, please leave them below. If you enjoyed the video, it would be awesome to throw me a like, and if you aren't already, please be sure to subscribe and check out the other stuff on my channel. I've got a bunch of content up there across heaps of genres of gaming tech, so hopefully there's something you like. Thanks again, I'll see you next time.